Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Evolution of the Arts in a Digital World Symposium. We are so pleased you are here with us this morning, and thanks for filling out that poll. This is our fourth session of the Evolution of the Arts in a Digital World Symposium. I am Anne-Marie Switzer, Musical Creativity Program Coordinator at the Francis Winspear Center for Music and the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. It's lovely to see so many participants online, and I've really enjoyed watching the poll here. And as you can see the results, I think for a long time there was the not sure option that was winning, but it looks like we have all of the above. So everybody is interested in everything this morning. We are hoping to inspire you, and we believe this will be a very fruitful learning opportunity that will meet everybody's interests. We would like to give a shout out to Canada Council and the Arts Digital Strategy Fund. This funding has helped make it possible to offer these sessions to you at no charge. However, we ask that you please consider a donation. A link to our donation page has been placed in the chat. We thank you in advance. Our organization depends on the community now more than ever, and we are very grateful for your support. We would also like to thank Arup for their support. And now for Emerging Digital Technologies, Endless Possibilities on a Budget. Our session today will introduce us to a myriad of technologies for a variety of budgets, as well as ways in which we can increase our digital offerings with small strategic steps. Our presenter today is Rafael Baldwin, Digital Media Storyteller with the New World Symphony. Rafael has worked on a wide variety of exciting projects. His nonfiction television broadcasts have included interviews with folks like George Clooney, Michael Phelps, and Ban Ki-moon. His projects for the New World Symphony have included VR tours and interactive videos, samples of which we will get to see later today. Raphael has 3 master's degrees and shares his knowledge with the next generation as a professor of VR 360-degree immersive filmmaking and storytelling at the University of Miami. So welcome, Raphael. And with that, I am so pleased to turn over the virtual podium so you can get things going.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you, Anne-Marie, for that introduction. As Anne-Marie said, I'm Rafael Baldwin. I am New World Symphony's Digital Media Storyteller. And as part of this exciting, forward-thinking digital symposium, I've prepared a session for you packed with tools, demos, ideas, and information that I hope it helps you expand your digital endeavors even further. So today we're going to be covering 6 main things. Number 1, a quick case study. A creative solution for when additional expenses are not an option, but how knowledge, creativity, and coming together can do as much and more than gadgets and budgets. Right after that, because I also love cool gadgets, we're gonna cover number 2, how to turn your phone into a professional video solution. We're gonna see how to maximize the high-end video features that our phones already come with, and what additional gadgets we can use to deliver professional quality video and audio. Then number 3, multi-camera transmissions for the web. There are times in which one video angle might not be enough to tell our story. A music concert, a press conference, a product presentation. So I'll show you how we can produce projects with different viewpoints, graphics, and multi-track audio without breaking the bank. Then number 4, a button-enabled interactive video. In addition to standard video, how we can offer a more engaging, active, gamified video experience to our audiences. It is a type of video that features buttons in which your audience can choose their own path to explore your stories. It's something really cool in between a video and a video game. Number 5, data-driven personalized videos. We all might have seen on Facebook those clips on your birthday that say, Hey, Rafael, we want to wish you a happy birthday. These are some of your best pictures of the last year. And then that video is pretty much about yourself. So I'll show you what tools you may need to produce content like that. And then number 6, how to produce image-based virtual reality experiences. Once we're comfortable using our beloved rectangular video, how we can produce immersive 360-degree video that can be watched on a virtual reality headset, computer, or phone. So, as I said, this session is packed with information, so let's get started. 2 disclaimers, 2 things, 2 comments. Let me see. The first one, you have the link. There you go. You have the link to download the slides in the chat box, I believe, or you can see that right on your screen, right in there. And one disclaimer, if you see me looking around, it's because I am using different tools for today's presentation, so I'm just making sure that everything is working perfectly. So let's get started. So you can see. So first off, a case study very quickly of a project called Miami Artstrong. I wanted to start with this one because we're going to be covering gadgets, software, technology, but most of them require some level of investment. And there are times, and last year was full of those moments, where perhaps additional expenses are just not an option. So I want to tell you about this project as an example of how sometimes spending money is not even necessary. So let's see. So 2020, crazy year. We all went through it. Everything was shut down. Museums, galleries, concert venues, everything. So early on into this pandemic, Kathleen Rohan, our VP of PR, and PR and communications executives from other cultural organizations got together to come up with something they could do remotely, completely digital, and without spending money to offer some relief to the arts. And they came up with an idea called Miami Artstrong. It is a project that offers a bi-weekly Zoom meeting for networking and brainstorming solutions to this crazy time, the production of graphic, written, and audiovisual assets for promotional purposes, and new digital channels, a website and social media profiles to promote upcoming projects from the affiliated companies. So they started to spread the word among colleagues, and in a matter of weeks, Miami Artstrong had more than 50 companies affiliated to it. Museums, dance academies, art collectives, graffiti studios. Today, almost 100 companies are a part of it. For example, I donated the logo and the videos. Kathleen coordinates the communication efforts. Someone else designed the website. Another member runs the social media. Some even contributed press and media contacts. So by leveraging priceless things like brain power, talent, time, experience, connections, and coordinating all these efforts, when we officially launched Miami Artstrong, the video that was published by all the companies at the same time reached an accumulated number of more than 30,000 views in less than 1 day. So without spending money and without people knowing much, really, about Miami Artstrong by that time. So coming together has definitely helped us to maneuver the challenges of the pandemic, but also redouble the efforts ahead of things like Give Miami Day, the most important annual fundraising event we have here in Miami, discuss alternatives for when Art Basel was canceled last December, and be in a better position to start designing options of what a new normal could be for the arts here. So next March, we're going to be celebrating 1 year of Miami Artstrong. So perhaps the moral of this introductory story is that, yes, economic resources are important and technological infrastructure is also very useful, but there are many things that are priceless and B, far more powerful, meaningful, and important than technology and budgets. Now, for us, the power of collaboration for Miami Artstrong has been equal to none. So I invite you to use this session. I'm so happy to see so many people. And I invite you to use this session and the symposium to connect with other people working in your industries. And hopefully, well, I'm sure interesting things will come out of that. Then let's go to section number 2. How to turn your phone into a professional video solution, because I also love cool budgets and gadgets. So let me tell you something. In 2021, phones come with 4K screens, amazing speakers, some even with free high-quality headphones, 5G technology to stream demanding files. So people are less and less interested in watching low-quality video in a crisp, powerful, high-quality device. That's for phones, but it also applies to tablets, computers, and smart TVs. The expectations of the digital audiences are getting higher. But the good thing is that in this day and age, technology is becoming cheaper, it is easier to use, and information is readily available. So it is easy to catch up and remain up to date. So with high quality in mind, let's start by looking at some tools that I'm sure will help you deliver better video with your phones. Let's see. So first off, video apps. My first suggestion is the Filmic Pro app. It is only $15 and it allows you to get control over the settings of your phone's camera. You can adjust things like the temperature and the tint of the image to ensure that the color balance is accurate. It comes with visual indicators of the contrast. You can see there in the presentation. It has visual indicators of the contrast, exposure, and color saturation values. You can adjust things like resolution, frame rate, and key settings to match your phone to the settings of maybe another camera. You can even overlay grids that serve as a reference for your compositions. So it gives you many of the features that you would expect to find in a professional camera, but right in your phone. And the guys have great tutorials, free great tutorials on their website. So it is easy to get up to speed. I also included a link where if you wanted to get that polished image and then use that as a webcam, there's a link there to a YouTube video that explains, if you wanted to do it, how you can do it. Then let's see. Good. So the next one would be mounts and stands. My recommendation for the mounts is the Manfrotto Twist Grip smartphone clamp. This is the perfect item. I have it here. Let me show it to you. This is a perfect item to be able to attach your phone to a tripod, stand, clamp, beanbag, because let me show you. So you would put it like this, and it secures your phone, but it also comes with a standard 1/4 inch thread that will allow you to put your device on a variety of supports. So for example, I happen to have a clamp here, so I'll just put it there. And with that, you can already attach your phone to a thick book, a table, a shelf, whatever you think would be a good fit. So a smooth, steady shot is one of the main things that will make your video look better because A, it will allow you to offer consistent shots for extended periods, a public presentation, a press conference, an interview, and B, it will allow you to repeat shots easily. For example, 2, 3 identical shots of, let's say, a establishing shot where you need the camera to pan. So you have the links there to the mount and a variety of stands, as I said, a tripod, a beanbag, a clamp that I think they serve different purposes and they could come in handy. So let's see. So then number 3, lighting kits. As you know by now, I am a news correspondent, and in many cases, I am also a one-man band. For many years, I've been renting, buying, testing equipment that delivers professional quality and that can also be taken on a plane and moved around easily by myself. So this gear is one of the kits that I use most often, and its most important item is the light. It has bicolor LEDs, warm and cold, so they will give you a color range to match or move away from the lights of the spaces you'll be working in. So let me show you something. It's a live demo. Let me adjust things here. Okay, so as you can see by now, the lack of light is one of the main things that brings down the quality of a video and makes it look flat. So first off, let's bring in this backlight. So the backlight helps me to separate my subject, in this case myself, from the background. Now, as you can see, I have a rim here, and also the seat gets a little bit of a rim. And that helps me to detach the subject from the other layers in the frame. Let me bring these other two. First one, then the other one. These two lights are for the subject in front of the camera. So yes, indeed, it's so that it's visible, but it's also important to remember that they make your subjects on camera look at their best. Different skin tones, ages, haircuts, wardrobe choices benefit from certain types of lighting more than others. So let me bring these other two, but also the lights, you can use them to create and control the contrast and the depth within your frame. As you can see right now, the room looks, fairly flat, no? So let's bring in these other lights. So the lights inside the booth make the booth visible, which happens to have a nice vibrant color. And these purple lights, the two over here, are not really adding any brightness, but they emphasize the depth. They make the space feel more three-dimensional. Without the lights, let me show you. It looks all right, but it looks, a little bit flat. So as I said, with the lights, we emphasize depth and the three-dimensional nature of what we are trying to represent on screen. And then finally, with lights, you can compensate the impact or reinforce the contribution of available light sources. For example, windows, computer monitors, lamps, or the fixed lights in a room. So let's go to, okay. Then audio kits. I love these 4 tools because they allow you to feed your phone with up to 2 professional microphones and monitor the signal with high-end headphones. As I said at the beginning, you have the slides, I think, in the chat box, and if you don't, guys, if you can help me just to share it with the audience so that you can click all the links and see the items yourself and keep a copy of the presentation. So as I was saying, people can see low quality video and they tend to be forgiving. But if they cannot hear what the guy in front of the camera is saying, that's usually very disruptive. So these tools are perfect for interviews, video tutorials, and online classes, but they come in very handy for corporate meetings and live presentations too. So let me show you something. So Lavalier microphones, or Lav microphones, like the one I included in the list, like the one I'm wearing right now, are important because A, they are close to your subject's mouth. So they offer clarity and presence as opposed to your camera's mic. I have this microphone here, whereas the microphone of the camera is much farther away. And B, by not using the built-in microphone of the actual phone, you can move the phone, which happens to be also your camera, more freely. So as I said, right now I'm using a lav microphone and I can move around the room without compromising the quality of the sound, no? Because of my position in relation to the camera. Then number 5, lens for phones. Number 5, lens for phones. Once we have the other essential tools, if you want to spice up the visuals, you may want to try a few different lenses. Among other things, different lenses offer different levels of image magnification. And that should help you to get different shots, a close-up, a medium shot, a wide shot. For that, I have two options for you. Let me show it to you. So the first one is super cheap. It's just $21, and it is a clamp that you can put, that you can attach, where you can attach 3 different lenses and that you then attach to your phone. So this is a lens, this is a clamp, and it goes like this. There you go. It is easy to use and it gives you a few more options. Just double check that it works with the specific model that you have. And second, if you want to take the lens variety one step further, you have another example there. You could give it a try to a brand called Moment, which produces higher end lenses for phones. They are a little bit more expensive, but they deliver much better results, and they have a wider variety of lenses. Instead of a clamp, some of them may require a dedicated case for the phone where you can attach the lens to it. And then number 6, video tutorials. Before, during, and after acquiring some of these tools or any others, it is always important to remember that knowledge is power. You can do more with knowledge and limited resources than with little knowledge and very expensive tools. So one of my favorite sites for high quality video tutorials by far is lynda.com, recently bought by LinkedIn and rebranded as LinkedIn Learning. Here you can find well-documented courses on a variety of subjects such as video editing, photography, computer programming, graphic design, storytelling, digital marketing, and many others. And it is great because it goes for as little as $30 a month. $30 a month. So I think that's a great subscription. So if you want, guys, let's make a quick pause. I would love to take some questions and maybe dive deeper into what you guys are currently doing, and we move to the next sections.
Thanks, Raphael. Boy, getting to see all of these really amazing gadgets that can just totally improve the quality of our digital content is really amazing. I was curious to know, well, people are maybe just typing in a question or two there for us. Do some of these gadgets, I don't know what else to call them, do they require like any special software or apps that come along with them that we would have to put on our phones and things like that?
Yes, usually most of them should come with a software if they need one. For example, the tool to record might need some audio recording software. So it's sorry, let me bring you here so that I can see you better. So yes, yes, they come with softwares so that you can use the tool at its best. But there are some others like the lenses that they don't need any software. It's just a matter of having the right case or the right clamp so that they don't block the camera. In terms of the lights, let me go back to that slide. That's actually a good idea. So I put there, the one down there, the desktop light, is the one I'm using here, which is slightly different to the lights in the kit. The lights in the kit are battery powered, whereas the lights that I am using here are connected to the wall. Those are great because they come with an app where you can control the brightness of the lights, which is good for things like what I did right now. Now I can control with the phone the brightness, the temperature, etc. So I don't have to be moving around my setup to adjust things.
That's so cool. This is just so very interesting. We really appreciate your knowledge and expertise. One more question before we move on. Do the lenses for the cameras that you're recommending and perhaps all the other technologies as well, do they work with all different types of phones? So like iPhone and Android?
Exactly. That it would be important that you check. Chances are they're going to work with most of the phones, but they might need a different case. Now we have phones that have 3 cameras and 2 cameras and 1 camera. I think there's one now with 4 cameras. So it would be important that you just check in the description that it works with the specific model that you have. No?
Thank you so much. We'll let you continue. I'm sure there'll be, we do have time at the end to answer more questions as well. So.
Okay, so I'm back. Okay, so section number 3, you can see, yeah, you can see me there. Section number 3, multi-camera transmissions for the web. We just covered a few tips and tools that should help us maximize what phones offer. But there will be times, as I was saying at the beginning, in which just one video angle might be a little limiting. Sometimes music recitals could benefit from having different viewpoints, or live presentations could offer more variety by incorporating pre-recorded videos, or don't know, transmissions could be enhanced with graphic overlays and graphic composites. So when that is the case, there is a great tool. Let me show it to you. There is a great tool called Blackmagic from Blackmagic Design called Mini Pro ISO. You have the links there and a great article about art institutions and how they've been using live transmissions during the pandemic. So let me show it to you. Okay. So you have the switcher here, and it has 4 video inputs, these ones over here. You also have buttons to manipulate the audio from those inputs. You have 2 more audio inputs where for example, I'm using one to connect the lav microphone that I am using today. Right in here, this one red. You have buttons to perform transitions, cut, dissolves. You have here the buttons to change the settings of those transitions. You have here the buttons for the picture-in-picture, what I am using right now. And you have here settings for the monitoring tool that I'm gonna show you in a minute. I'm gonna show you all of these things in action. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so as I was saying, I want to share with you 8 things, 8 different tools that you have with this switcher that I think they are super useful. So number 1, it allows you to receive 4 different video signals via standard HDMI connections. Those are super standard connections. So you can connect 4 professional cameras, or in my case, I have connected 2 cameras, but also 1 computer with the presentation and the phone. So let me show you that in action. So for example, I have here camera 1, camera 2. I just did something. I think I disconnected the camera. Give me 1 second. I'll check it in a minute. But well, I have camera 1 here. Camera 2 is the one that I just used to show you the switcher. Camera 3 is this one that has the computer. And camera 4 is my phone, which right now has the app. That's the app that I use to control these lights. Whoop. There you go. So I think that's very useful. You could even connect a replay machine if you were into sports transmissions. So that's number one. Number two, it comes with an array of video transitions. So you have options to go from one video source to the other. It could be, as I was showing you, it could be hard cuts like this. It could be dissolves like this. It could even be wipes and digital video effects like this one, or like this one, or like this one. Or it could even be, well, it could even be a fade to black, as you saw a few minutes ago. I'm gonna show it to you again, which is great to start and conclude your transmissions because it fades the image and the sound together. So that one you already knew about that one. Then number three, you can use produced graphic overlays. Pre-produced graphic overlays. Let me show it to you. Have it here. So it could be watermarks like this one over here that are great to keep your brand visible at all times. You could use, you could use a lower third like this one, which is great for names, no? The name of the subject, the name of the venue, etc. You could use larger graphics like this one, which are great for maybe, you know, a call to action or to adding some context of what's going on in the interview, whatever. And let's see. Even full screen graphics like this one, if you need to make an announcement or something like this. Then number four, as you already saw, you can create picture-in-picture. Let's go. You can present a picture-in-picture, which means embedding one video source into another one. It is particularly useful for presentations like this one, where I want to show you different things while remaining visible at all times. Then number five, very powerful, audio inputs. I can connect, I can connect two microphones directly, but I can also connect an entire audio mixer via those same two connections. As I told you, I am using right here a lav microphone over here. But you could have an entire audio team producing the sound of for a concert, and then they could give you a stereo mix of that work that you can easily incorporate into your transmission. Then number six, the multi-camera monitoring tool. Let me just check because I think I messed around with the camera. I don't know what happened. Oh, there you go. It's disconnected from here. Okay, so we're back. Okay. So you have here the monitoring tool, which has the 4 video inputs here, the 4 cameras. Let me wake up the phone so that you can see that there. You have here camera 1, camera 2, this one that is showing you the multi-view. Then camera 3 or source video number 3, the computer and the phone right here, the source video number 4. You also have the monitoring. You can also monitor the audio. You have here the graphics that you ingested previously. You have here the recording status, and you have here, you can even monitor here the internet fluctuations in case you are streaming something to social media. You also have preview, that is the shot that you're planning to send to your program, and program, that is what you're sending live to your audience. So I think this aspect is very powerful. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And then number 7, recording capabilities. The AIDA Mini Pro ISO, it's important, the ISO, because it's a family of switchers. The AIDA Mini Pro ISO can record the resulting transmissions, what I am producing for you guys today, but also the audio inputs and the 4 video inputs isolated. It is called ISO for isolation. So this is a very powerful feature because if there were any mistakes during the live transmission, you can easily correct it afterwards and archive a flawless updated file. Then number 8, streaming capabilities. As you've seen during this session, I can feed my produced video signal into my computer via USB. But in addition to that, directly from the switcher, I can stream to social media. There's a tab in the software that comes with the switcher where I can assign all the streaming codes and the user accounts. So now let me show you a short 1-minute video with 2 examples of multi-camera setups that I've produced with this switcher in the last year. So the first one is a recital of a brass quintet that we did live from the musicians' living room when the lockdown measures started last year. And the second one is an interview setup. No. There you go.
What are you looking forward to the most in the transformation, the digitization, just the change in music and the arts in the near future? Let's just say in the next 5 years or so.
I really believe that we're building community through art and culture. We're building community by allowing you and me with our different backgrounds and our different interests to come together and share, to come together and have a common experience. It is absolutely clear to me that and has been since the mid-90s, that we were going digital.
Oh, you're just muted, Raphael.
Thank you. A few buttons over here. So as I said, an affordable solution that could be a great addition to your video arsenal. I would love to make a pause here in case anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Raphael. Yeah, we've actually had, the chat has been very, very busy. So one that I think probably many people, especially if they're from musical organizations on the call today, do you know of any technology out there that would allow people to sing or play music together without the time lags?
I think, well, the thing with the lag is that it pretty much depends on the internet connection that you have. Not necessarily the software, but the speed, right? The bandwidth of the internet. And also how busy that network is. So it could be very fast, but if you have 100 people connected, it gets a little trickier. I think Zoom is doing a great work. You know, right now, because of the pandemic, I think they have maneuvered things, you know, so smoothly, but it has definitely presented challenges for them. So I'm sure that, you know, as soon as we move away from the pandemic, that same infrastructure will just deliver much better results, just because, you know, right now everybody's using Zoom. Actually, you could see in the memberships that things that they used to offer right now, they are not offering them, no, because the demand is just so high.
Yeah, Zoom has been we're thankful for it these days. Kind of related to that question, the lavalier mic that you're using, do you know if like it works well with instruments, to put it on instruments? Because of course, a popular thing these days is the virtual ensemble. And so it might make it easier for recording those things at home. Just curious what you think.
Yeah, I think it's important to think of microphones as if it were ears, right? And the thing with the lav microphone, it's great when you're talking because it's close to your mouth. But if you're playing, let's say, the trumpet or the trombone, the lav mic, it's gonna be, first off, in the wrong direction of where the sound, it's gonna be, you know, mainly coming out, right? Because the performer is gonna be sending the air there while the mic is gonna be with you. So I really think that, and also, you know, it could be a little dry, the sound, because it's gonna be way too close to the performer. So you're gonna listen to the instrument, but also the fingers and all the, you know, the bow in the string if you're way too close. So chances are you would like to have like a Blue Yeti mic, now that you can connect via USB to the computer, that you can move maybe 3-4 feet away from the instrument so that you have a nice blend of the instrument, the reverb, no, the room tone, and yeah, something, yeah, if it's close to your to the musician, or if the musician is wearing it, if he moves, like if I do this, you hear that. I'm not, you know, I'm just moving my hands right now, but if I'm playing percussion, you know, it could be very disruptive to have those noises, no? So I think the Blue Yeti mic might be a little better for the instrument, but maybe both would be best, because then if you move the mic 3, 4, 5 feet away from the instrument, then if that's the only mic, then now it's 4 or 5 feet away from you. So either you have to project your voice considerably, or if you have two, the lav microphone serves one purpose and the Yeti mic serves another purpose.
Thanks for that. I'm going to sneak in one last question before you continue. Just real quick, can the equipment that you're using, and you showed us a bit of your rundown, your rig there, can it be used remotely for live streaming, or are you pretty stationary there?
Yes, yes, there's a step in between. It has its limitations, but we've been using it and I think it's awesome. You could have a computer setup, and then that computer and the other computer in another city or something, they need to use a software called a Team Viewer, where you can gain control remotely of that computer. So I could be at home operating certain features of the other computer in the, that's actually, you know, when the pandemic started, that was one of the things that we incorporated into the workflow so that we could produce things, right? So we started to use TeamViewer to produce some of these live transmissions, but also our IT team started to use it so that all the staff, you know, could have the same software, etc. So they were connecting to all those computers remotely to download software, to change settings, etc., so that all the computers were on the same page. No? So the software is TeamViewer.
Okay, thank you so much for that. There's really fruitful conversation happening in the chat there, but we'll let you continue on and have those questions at the end.
Awesome. So let's see. Okay, so I want to talk to you now. Sorry, let me move this away. So I want to talk to you now about interactive video. Core to the film, you can hear me well, no? Core to the film and television projects that we have enjoyed for decades, there is a linear nature to it. The beginning, middle, and end are fixed. You can watch a movie 100 times and it would always unfold in the same way. However, today, thanks to computer technology, things like automation and programmatic interaction are things that we can now incorporate into our videos in the form of buttons. It allows you to present something in between a video and a video game that can offer a different experience every time you watch it. So this is an example I produced at New World. We used it to present 4 of the 18 fellow-driven projects that our musicians produced recently. So this new format and technology were great. Sorry, let me change the slide. There you have it. They were great because they allowed us to present a lot of information in a much more manageable way. So let me show you the example. Okay, you have my phone there. Let's see. So let's see.
Hello, I'm John Keyser, Provost for the New World Symphony. These projects are part of the Fellows curriculum. They give the Fellows experience in moving one of their passions from concept all the way through to execution. Many of these projects ended up in the area of social action. For example, working with migrant farm workers in Homestead, the transgender community in Miami, the Miami-Dade
So I'm going to
County Animal
choose
Shelter,
trans
and the
news.
conservation of the Florida Everglades. Now, please take a moment and explore by clicking on one of those buttons.
My name is Zach Manzi. I play clarinet at New World Symphony. My project was created to celebrate the transgender community in South Florida.
Now I'm going to choose
Please
my
visit any
audience.
of these options to discover more about my project. After my project for the trans community, I was talking to a lot of people from the trans community, and a lot of them told me that they never had something like this before.
So now I'm going to go
always
back
trying
to the menu.
My project was created to celebrate the transgender community. I wanted to do this so that we could put a spotlight on the transgender community, which is often overlooked.
And then I'm going to choose main.
Please visit any of these options to learn more about my project.
There were 21 projects in all, which
So
covered a
let's stop
wide,
it there for the
diverse
sake
set
of time, but you
topics.
have the link.
Everything from a curated
You have
concert
the-
of John Cage's music in a contemporary art museum.
You have the link there in case you want to explore the interactive video on your own.
Programs that were derived from a needs assessment process and then focused on those needs.
Okay. So the Echo platform, you have everything there. Yeah. So the Echo platform is a free software that you can use to produce projects like this one. And it is a very user-friendly tool that allows you to design a sort of a mind map structure with all these video fragments, which to the viewer will look like an interactive branching video with buttons. So you have actually a portion of the mind map structure there. So now I want to tell you 3 things to keep in mind if you decided to give it a try. So first off, that it will require some level of graphic design, mainly to create the buttons. Let me go back to this slide. You see the buttons there. Ideally, the buttons should be in harmony with the image that you're using as a backdrop. For example, we used blue and green for the buttons of the experience to match the blue and green of the seats in the concert hall. Then number 2, it will require some level of user experience design. For how long should the buttons appear in the video so that your audience has the time to read them? Or how often should these moments of choice come up? Or how long should each video fragment be so that the viewing experience is not too active or too passive? So these questions and more are things that you will need to decide in order to present an engaging and seamless experience to your viewer. Let me go back to this one. And then it will require thorough pre-production. These are not the projects where you can shoot extensively and then go and then try to figure out how to make it work in post-production. These are the type of projects that you need to start with sticky notes, design the entire structure, and then capture everything that you need. So this stage should present the right questions at the right time. For example, do I need specific shots to be wider than usual to have space to display the buttons? Or should some shots be longer than usual because I'll be using them as a backdrop for the buttons, and I need to give my viewers some extra time to read the options. So the more specific your pre-production is, the easier the subsequent production stages will be. So you have the links there. With Echo Platform, you have, it's a nice tool to present perhaps all of your board members to the people, or introduce people to the instruments of the orchestra, or revisit years of archived material in a manageable way. So, well, I really like it. And it's free, so I recommend that you give it a try. Let's see what else. So section number 5, personalized video. Now, what if we wanted to take the bespoke video approach one step further and give each audience member a dedicated video that includes his or her name, birthday, the amount that they donated to your institution, the date in which they became a member, pictures of them during the gala, and any other information or assets that are specific and meaningful to each one of them. For that, there is a great tool called Idamoo, which offers all the things that you may need to produce personalized video. So let's have a look at video. Let's have a look at a video that showcases what personalized video is all about. Sorry. Yeah, there you go.
You might be asking yourself, what is Idamoo? Idamoo is the only personalized video solution with true end-to-end user-friendly technology for scalable, secure, and seamless mass that automatically customizes video content in real time. So what exactly is personalized video? Personalized video combines the impact of video with the relevance of personalization, creating a unique method of digital communication. That means each customer doesn't receive just a video, they receive their video.
Apply today for the card you truly deserve.
Idamoo is simple to use, and yet the possibilities for personalization are limitless.
Hi, Christopher.
Hi, Regina.
Bonjour, Christopher.
Our mission is to help you get the most out of your car.
Dan.
Hi, Zachary.
Hey, Heidi, here's a special offer just for you.
Your mortgage payment is due on the 1st of every month.
You helped your sponsored children and their entire communities.
When you combine visual and audio elements with dynamic scene selection, the result is a series of completely unique, data-driven videos ready to wow your audience. With interactive video, your journey is in your hands. Videos can be shared via any method, including email, SMS, or in-app. Whatever fits your campaign goal. After your personalized videos have been delivered, we'll provide you with robust analytics and feedback to make sure your campaign is a success. Idamoo provides you with the flexibility to choose how involved you'd like us to be with your campaign. You can work on our platform independently or elect for assistance from our suite of professional services. To learn more and get started, contact Haley today.
Oh, you're just on mute again, Raphael, sorry.
Sorry, thank you for that. And now let me show you a very short video, a very short side-by-side example of a personalized video that I produced at New World, where you can see how the template that I created is modified automatically to reflect the personalization for each recipient. Let's see. I'll be back. So let me show you this. So there's a freebie here. The guys at Idamoo want to offer you a bespoke discount. If you decided to give them a try, reach out to Hailey, tell her that you attended the symposium, and she'll be happy to help. Then two main things to keep in mind when producing personalized video. First off, a little bit about the production workflow. How do these videos come to life? They have four main stages. The first one, you build an Excel spreadsheet. You collect all the specific information about your constituents that you would like to feature in the video. Then you produce a template video, which will have placeholders where you are planning to feature the specific names, ages, etc., that will later be populated automatically by specific fields of your Excel document. Then you use Idamoo's platform to assign which column of your Excel document corresponds to which placeholder in your video. And finally, you upload your Excel spreadsheet to Idamoo's platform and then render all these personalized versions. The size of the batch will depend on how many individuals you decide to include in your Excel document. And then data is the key to succeed. The beauty and the success of your personalized video campaigns will not necessarily depend on how good you are at video production. It will depend on the database that you manage to build. Having good, extensive, creative, accurate data will determine how rich, compelling, and successful your personalized videos are. And then let's go to the last section. How to produce image-based, you have me there? Yeah. How to produce image-based virtual reality experiences. So we have been discussing a video as we've known it for decades. Our beloved rectangular frame that has the shape of our TVs, phones, computer monitors, movie theaters, and we've covered a variety of its formats: personalized, interactive, live for the web. There's a relatively new one that is a personal favorite of mine, that is 360-degree video, a type of spherical video that offers you an immersive experience that you can best enjoy on a virtual reality headset like this one. Like this one, you would wear it like that. The headset is pretty much a head-mounted display. It's like a TV, but in the shape of goggles. As I said, you can watch it in the virtual headset, or you can also experience that on your phone or the computer. Before we go to the demo, let me show you a little bit of how 360-degree content is produced. So instead of the cameras that have one lens, as the ones we're very familiar with, these enclosures have six, well, in this case, this one has 6 cameras. The one that I included in the presentation has 2. And you see there, the 6 cameras. And it captures all of your surroundings and instantaneously or later in post-production, by undergoing a process called stitching, the 6 photos or videos are stitched together and presented as one spherical image. This is a great technology for projects in which your surroundings are very rich and interesting, like a theater play, an opera, ballet, or a symphonic orchestra, and when the viewer experience would benefit from a first-person point of view, so that people can have a taste of what it's like to do something or be at a certain place. So let me show you. I wanted to do this demo live, but it's a little cumbersome. So let me show you an example of one of the projects that I've produced. It is a virtual tour of the New World Center. So this is where the New World Center's virtual tour starts. This is Soundscape Park, which is a beautiful park right in front of the New World Center. This glass facade is the Frank Gehry building where the New World Symphony performs. One of the things that I like about 3D Vista, the software that I used to create this virtual tour, is that in addition to the 360 imagery, as you saw by now, this is a 360 image. When I move my head, the head-mounted display reflects what it would have been my position if I had been in the actual place. So, as I was saying, I like that you can embed other media. For example, here, a standard picture to show an example of our wall during one of our wallcasts, a little bit of a description over here. You can embed buttons, labels, as you saw by now. You can also put music. I'm going to show you a video in a minute. This is one of the buttons that display the name of the space that if you click, it would take you to. So let's go inside. Now we are in the atrium. And again, we have different buttons so that you can navigate the space. The Gary Bar there, the performance hall, the Clinton room, the atrium level 2, the rooftop garden, the Suntrust pavilion. Let me take you to the performance hall, which is my personal favorite. Now we have here an orchestral rehearsal. And let me show you now a standard video that is embedded into these 360 images. So let's go there. So as you can see, it looks like a movie theater. For the sake of time, let's stop it there. I'll give you the link so that you can check it out. And let me show you now the same experience, but in your phone. First off, as you can see by now, it is responsive, so I can use it in a vertical fashion or in a horizontal way. It has buttons, so I can have different ways to navigate the tour. Let me hide the buttons for now. One thing that I like is that you can navigate the space by using your finger and scrolling, as I am doing now, but you can also grab the phone, and since phones currently have gyroscopes, it allows you to move the phone and mimic what you could do with a virtual headset. So I'm moving it here. I can see the building. I think that's nice. And now if I want to go inside, instead of using the controllers, I just click the label. So I'm going to do it now. And same, I have it here. Here, let me show you one more space. Let's go to the Suntrust Pavilion. So in addition, let me put the slides. And this one. So in addition to conventional filmmaking principles, 360-degree video will benefit from these other considerations. The first one, apply theater strategies when directing on-camera talent. For example, corporal expression or staged movement. You will not be cutting from one wide shot to a close-up. So you will need things to happen around the camera and be noticeable even from afar. Then number two, a long, interesting scene tends to work better than a fast-paced montage. You don't want to interrupt the viewer's freedom to look around by including too many cuts in the video. And then number three, venues with an abundance of light tend to work best. Concert halls, theaters, outdoor spaces. These cameras do not perform great in dark environments yet. Plus, any light, stand, modifier will be visible at all times, unless of course it is hidden behind something or later removed in post-production, which would require an additional step. So just to finish, I love this technology, and I think just like all the, you see me there? Now you see me there. And just like all the other formats that we covered today, they allow us to present what we do in a meaningful, creative, engaging, and very novel, in very novel ways. New technologies present an additional opportunity to bring a different angle into what we do and provide some fresh air into how we can experience our disciplines. Also, they help us to connect with other audiences, remote audiences that may happen not to live where we are located, or sometimes young audiences that, might be unfamiliar with what we do. So in any case, I hope you found it useful. You have, let's put it there. You have my contacts, my contact details there. Please feel free to reach out. And I would love to take some questions if you guys have any.
Thank you so much, Raphael. Boy, this was a lot of information to take in, and it's all so amazing. You are doing incredible work, and we're so lucky to have you. We are going to open the floor now for some questions, and I know it's been pretty active in the chat there. So if there are any further questions, please do pop them in the chat for us or use the raise hand function. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Amanda Bannister. She's been helping me moderate today. And Amanda, do we have any questions?
Yes, there's lots of questions coming in for you, Raphael. I'm going to start with one from Alan. He is wondering, how does a video stand out when there is already a saturation of high quality content available for free? And what are some of the key performance indicators that you use to measure the success of your projects?
Cool. Well, first, the second one. In terms of key performance indicators, I'm convinced that each project needs to have their own key performance indicators. Now, sometimes if it's a free concert, then ticket revenue won't be a KPI, right? It needs to be perhaps the diversity of the crowd that we manage to bring into our concerts, or if it's free videos on YouTube. Chances are revenue might not be the first key performance indicator if you're starting, but maybe the number of views, right? And you have to start with one view and then optimize your video campaigns so that ideally every video performs better. So in terms of key performance indicators, it's also important to perform A/B tests, so that you can have, almost identical versions of your content, but not quite yet. No, you modify a little bit, and then you start testing out which one performs better, and then you learn from that data. So the idea, I would say, it's important to assign the right key performance indicators, right? You don't want to aim for 1 million viewers for the first video, because then it could feel like a failure. But assign the right one, the right one. If it's the first video, maybe let's aim for 100 views, no? And see the comments and see what your audience is telling you that they would like to see next. The first question, what was the first question?
Alan was wondering about how you make your videos stand out when there's such a saturation of high quality content available for free.
Sure. So I think it's important to appeal to the niche market, right? To these small groups that the mainstream media for years have not talked to them, right? Just a few years ago, TV aimed to put something, at 7 p.m. that they thought it was equally enjoyed by moms, dads, teenagers, kids. They were these broad groups that, yes, when we only had a few channels to choose from, it made sense. But that's really one of the things why online content became so incredibly popular and disrupted the TV industry, because they started to talk to smaller groups. Teenagers wanted to see different things than kids, than young moms, than all these different demographics. So I think that, finding something, first off, that you're passionate about, because that's going to be what's going to be driving all those extra hours that sometimes you need to put into the production of those videos to have a consistent editorial calendar. But also to you don't need 1 million followers, and that's why Facebook for the last 3 or 4 years, it's no longer prioritizing for the number of followers that you have, but for the traction that the followers, the level of engagement that they have with your videos. It no longer, but it matters up to a certain extent if you have 20 million followers on YouTube. But if you've been around for 12 years and it happens that your last video was published 2 years ago, it doesn't matter if it says 20 million followers if you haven't done anything for them in the last 2 years. Chances are they are already following other pages. It's just that there's not a habit of unsubscribing to pages, right? I'm sure I have subscribed to pages in the last 10 years, but some of them I'm not even familiar with them right now. So it is important that, to put in the right perspective, number of followers, and to remember that sometimes you only need 1,000 followers that purchase tickets for your next recital, that purchase your upcoming album. If you have let's say a string quartet, you don't need 1 million followers. You need 1,000 that buy the album that you just produced, that maybe you're selling it for $12. And if you make the numbers, $12, 8,000 followers, it's already $100,000 or somewhere around that. So again, I think niche audiences are super important. And I think that could be something that Alan would like to explore if he's not doing it already, because that's where I think you can find an edge, where there's no content for them.
Thank you. I love that perspective of the niche market. We've also had some questions roll in, very practical questions about the apps that you would recommend for video editing that are free and easy to use. Do you have any comments about that?
Sure, for sure. There are two, and it depends on the ecosystem that you use if you're planning to then later edit in a computer. So you have iMovie that has an app, an iMovie app, which is great because then you can migrate from iMovie in your phone. You can migrate it to your computer. You can continue the editing process on your computer, and then you can even continue that later in Final Cut Pro, which is one of the industry standards. If you're not into Final Cut Pro and maybe let's say Adobe Premiere Pro, there is a Adobe Rush, I believe, that it's pretty much the same. You have certain tools that you can use in the phone that you can then, you just drag the folder to your computer and you can continue working on Premiere Pro if you want it. But if you decide to do everything on your phone, I think iMovie or the Premiere Rush, I believe it's the name, I'm sure both could serve the same purpose.
Thank you so much. Another really quick practical question about your webcam that you're using. Are you using the Filmmac Pro or do you have a webcam or a DSLR camera right now? Someone in the audience is wondering.
Sure, no, good question. It is actually not a webcam, but I am using it as a webcam. It's the Sony a7S III that was released last year in August, I believe. That is a new generation of the famous a7S II. That it's one of the cameras of the Alpha family of Sony, which are really powerful devices that are great for low light conditions. So I have that camera right in here, and it is connected to the 8 Mini Pro, which is connected to the computer and then to Zoom, so that we can have this conversation. And there was something else in the question, I believe.
Yes, just wondering about whether or not you're using any sort of Filmmac Pro or DSLR camera in your work.
Yes, the Sony a7S III, it's not a DSLR, it's a mirrorless camera, but they are, they are tailored to the same market. They are compact cameras that some years ago were considered photo cameras, but they have evolved so much that they deliver great video, professional quality in a compact body as a photographic camera.
Thanks so much. Another question from Alan that I really love. What piece of advice would you give to enhance the storytelling aspect of any video project?
Mm-hmm. Look, I think there's one very important thing. People don't relate, but they relate we relate up to a certain extent, but I think it would be fair to say that we don't relate with numbers, we don't relate with the statistics, we don't relate with graphics, etc., as much as we relate to people, right? People relate to people. So in terms of storytelling, finding a character through which you can explore the stories, I think it's always a great point of departure. Yes, maybe there are sometimes in which there's not a character and the approach needs to be different. But I would say 9 out of 10, there's an interesting character through which you can explore that story. If it's a side-by-side concert, we have a project called the Side-by-Side Concert where our fellows perform with kids. And they have one public presentation where MTT conducts. So I think we actually produced that story. It was interesting to see through the eyes of one of these beneficiaries what it was like to be, on stage with the fellows and conducted by MTT. There are some stories, I think there's always an interesting angle, and an interesting person that could tell you a little bit more of that story. And then the connection is different, right? Because the audience will be connecting with the character, and through the character, they'll discover the story, the numbers, the statistics, whatever you want to also share with them.
Thanks so much. Another question just about your presentation and how you go about embedding video and enabling the picture-in-picture.
Sure, it's with the 80 Mini Pro. Let me show you. Okay. So here you have these buttons over here, and these allow you to enable the picture-in-picture. So let's see. Let's put source number 1. Okay. And then you just go here on. And then you can switch with these 4, the corner where you want to have the picture-in-picture. So it's just a matter of routing the video signals so that you have a full screen, the one that it's most meaningful to you so that they can see most of it, and then the other, the picture-in-picture, the second signal that you would like to also present to the people.
Very cool. You make it look so easy, Raphael. I think we have time for maybe one more question. And this one is just about the way that you give your videos a feel of being physically present in a space beyond 360 or VR, virtual reality, whether it's the directional audio that you use, handheld shots. How do you recommend going about that?
Sure. Is this question specific to virtual reality, or how, if we're not using virtual reality, how we can make someone feel as in our place?
I think it's about having people feel physically present beyond the use of 360 photos and virtual reality. So in the absence of 360
that are not like other formats, no, that are not virtual reality, but that could accomplish the same thing. Well, I think just finding, sometimes it happens, but I try that it doesn't happen to me. But for example, we have a beautiful Frank Gehry building. It's a building that it's just gorgeous. And what I always try to do is to find these different spots, these different parts of the building where I haven't shot an interview or a fellow performing, that I try to even when I go every day there, I try to and it's not hard to achieve that because it's so beautiful that, you know, it's always exciting to take an extra tour. I think I'm the number one visitor of the New World Center, just because I'm always trying to not repeat myself, trying to find, you know, a different angle to that beautiful wall or a different room that maybe I have not used in the past, or, you know, things like that. So I think it's just a matter of not giving for granted anything, right? You know the place, but your audience does, you know, they don't know the place. So just share it with them. Just share all these parts that for you are interesting, and never give it for granted or get used to it, right? Like, be always thoughtful of, yeah, maybe that's the entrance where I go to work every day, but you know what? It's beautiful. Glass facade, boom. So let's share that with someone who maybe happens to live in a different continent and haven't been to the New World Center. So always, you know, try to find those things that made you excited about that place at the beginning, and never give it for granted, and be excited about it every day.
Thank you, Raphael. Boy, this really has been such a fruitful learning opportunity for everybody. And I know there's been amazing accolades, and everybody's commenting on how fascinating all of this has been. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone who's joining us today for this session, Emerging Digital Technologies, Endless Possibilities on a Budget. I have to just comment that for me today, I really found value in your answer to Alan about the performance indicators and what you said at the beginning of the presentation about the power of collaboration, because no matter the size of your budget or your organization, sometimes it's not always about revenue and just creating experiences. So thank you for that. Join us next Wednesday, everyone, February 3rd, starting at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for our next symposium event, Fireside Chat, Institutional Change, Funding and Infrastructure. As a reminder, registration is free. However, we ask that you please consider a donation. A link to the registration page and our donation page have been placed in the chat for you to easily access. By the end of this week, you will receive an email with notes and a copy of Raphael's presentation. As well, I know there was some questions we didn't quite get to today, and I'm sure that we will be passing those along to Raphael, and he'll formulate some answers for us to share with you. The email will also include a brief evaluation survey link, so please provide your feedback for us so that we can ensure that we continue to meet your needs throughout all of our Evolution of the Arts in a Digital World Symposium sessions. Stay safe, everyone. We look forward to welcoming you again next week. Thanks so much.